right. Hello, everybody. This is Taylor McLean with Real Broker and Tina Swanger with Remax Properties and leader of the Peak Success Team. And this is the Team TNT Radio podcast. Let's get into today's episode.
And we're going to talk about mindset. This is my absolute favorite topic. The reason is because this is what I speak on. This is what I'm writing my book on and what I'm doing a TED Talk on. So as far as mindset, it is critical to have a positive mindset when we're going through the journey of life. Because your mindset, the thoughts that you think about. Your mindset actually controls all of your activities. Everything you think becomes what your actions are. Your actions become your results and become your reality. So if you're thinking a negative thought, you're going to bring negative energy to your life. You're going to bring negative thoughts and attract negative events, your negative reality. So a long time ago, when I started doing some journaling, because a lot of people recommended, think about what you think about. I started thinking about what I was thinking about, and I thought, man, there's a lot of garbage in there. When I look in the mirror in the morning, I go, oh, look at those wrinkles. Oh, you're losing your hair. Oh, you need to lose some weight. Oh, gosh, there's bags under your eyes. Your teeth are yellow. That's a negative mindset. And we're talking to ourselves like we're our enemy. Why do we do that? This sets us up for failure. So eventually I learned to start thinking about it. And then I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to start being nice to myself. And everything starts with what goes on in your head, personally, professionally, how you relate to the public, your community, your buyers, your sellers, and your peers, the people you work with, and your family, your friends, everything. It all starts with the chatter that's going on in your mind. So, how do you fix this? Well, first you start thinking about what you're thinking about. Then you change the things that you don't like. If you're being hard on yourself, give yourself some grace. Learn how to turn it around. You have to build some confidence. You have to have some practice. It's going to take a while if you're stuck in a mindset rut. Don't do that. Life is going to change. The minute you start changing your mindset, everything else changes too. You start becoming more successful, more healthy, more likable. Advantages come your way. Business comes your way. You make more money. People like being around you. You get more listings. You get more sales. And your peers will accept your offers because they like working with you. You're not a Debbie Downer. You're not talking smack to yourself, and you're not walking around with your head held down. Kind of like Eeyore, if you remember the Winnie the Pooh series.
Yes, I love Eeyore.
Yes. So one of the things I love about you, Taylor, is that you have one of the most go-getter, enthusiastic, positive mindsets that I have seen in a very, very long time. When I met you, your go-getter attitude and your nothing's going to stop me kind of mentality is very electric, and I wanted to be around you. How did you come up with such a wonderful attitude?
Well, thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot. And definitely was not easy. Just because, there's so many reasons to be negative. There's so many reasons for us to think negatively about ourselves, about our lives, about our careers, about our personal situations, about really everything. There's a lot of reasons to be negative. And that's why it's so important to carve a little hole in the middle of it for yourself
Yeah.
to be positive. And that's what's so important is when everything is trying to drag you down, when everyone is telling you you're going to fail. I was told that I wouldn't pass my real estate exams, and I was told that I wouldn't be able to run a business. And when you're told those things by mentors or whatever, it really gets you down for a second and you're like, wow, can I really do this? I don't know if I can do this or not. And then you sit down and you realize you're like, no, I can't make their thoughts my reality. I
Yes.
have to make my own reality and what I want for my life. So that's what I did is I started working on my mindset. And every day when I started thinking about something in a negative way, oh, I can't do that because of this, or I can't be this person because of this, whether it's money, time restraints, whatever it is. And I stopped making excuses for myself. And I started,
Give us some real world examples.
yeah. So definitely what is kind of difficult is starting a business. So I got my real estate license and obviously I have a full-time job. So I work in an assisted living community, and it's crucial to my story because we're talking about bettering ourselves and having a strong mindset when the world wants to put you in a box and you're not comfortable being in the box anymore, and you
Yes.
see the other side, you see the outside of the box and you can't unsee it, is what I like to say.
Yes.
You see the potential of yourself and of your business that you're wanting to build, and you become obsessed with it. And that's essentially what I did to break out of that mindset. Is every day
Wow.
I'm very, very grateful for my job, and I'm very, very grateful for my family and my friends. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to drive myself to work every day and make myself food and afford gas. I mean, it's the little things. You have to really be grateful for those things because there's a lot of people that can't. They need someone else to drive them, or they don't remember, and because I work with seniors, so I see that every day where they don't know what time it is, they don't know what day it is. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to do those simple things. And when you become grateful and you look at other people and you think to yourself, wow, I'm in a very good position, and I'm very grateful to be in that position. So what are you going to do about it today? Like, what are you going to do with the opportunities that you currently have? And what's important is you can't wait around for these opportunities. You have to go out and do it. You have to go out and do something and talk to new people and seek out new experiences, even if you're really terrified. So that's something I've implemented in my life every day. Is every day I'm going to do something that makes me extremely uncomfortable. So that's what I do to challenge myself and to keep my mindset clear and positive, because when you're going through that new experience every day,
Yeah.
and it can be simple. It can be you talking to somebody new. It can be you making a cold call. It could be you, going out and seeing a house. It could be something like that, super simple, or even addressing something that you haven't gotten time to address, you've been putting it off. You just always have to hold yourself accountable, do something new that challenges yourself every day. And I think that's a really good place to start when you're trying to change your mindset. So that's what I've done for myself to be able to get to this point where I do feel like I'm a very positive person. And something else that goes with that is you have to kind of be a little not naive in strategy, but naive in, the world is crazy and horrible, but you still decide to be positive every day, because how
Yes.
else are you going to get through it?
I think that's one of your superpowers. I do.
Thank you.
And I think the two key points that you hit were gratitude is really because you can't have victim and gratitude in the same thought. You can't. So if you're running around going, woe is me, or I can't, I'm not good enough, smart enough, educated enough, whatever. If you have that thought and you replace it with gratitude and things like that, that's going to shift everything. And I hear you saying overcoming your fears actually helps with your mindset.
Yes,
Yeah.
significantly. Yeah, because what we're doing right now, speaking publicly, and
Yes.
that is very scary for me. Well, was very scary for me. I still get nervous, but I'm a lot better than I was.
You and me both. There was a time where I was like, I would replay, I'd do a little clip and I'd replay and replay, and my hair's out of place, or I got too much makeup on, or there's lipstick on my teeth, or the lighting's not right. And then I scrap it. And then I do nothing. And then I go try to get back into it. I think consistency is probably the key too. And that's another point. When you are consistent with the positive habits, it builds your confidence and then perpetuates the positive mindset.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
that's kind of like an aha. That's one of those things that you sit there and you go, wow, I never really thought about it. But the reason why I'm happy is because, like this morning, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I could have complained, whined, and said that, because I committed to myself to go work out at the gym on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I committed to myself because I really like being healthy. I want to get my heart rate up and my stamina. And I just want to live a long time so I can torture my husband forever. So so I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and whatever. So I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I think I only slept for about 4.5 hours. And I woke up before the alarm clock went off, and I'm just sitting there, going, I got to get up in 30 minutes and go to the gym. And then I thought, you ding dong, get your ass out of bed now and get to work. You got some business to take care of. You got things to do, people to see, places to go, and people to help. So get your butt out of bed. So mindset is having those little pep talks with yourself and making sure that you're holding yourself accountable, because at the end of the day, I can make all kinds of excuses. I can make all kinds of excuses to fail, because Lord knows I got a lot of stuff that can, people would go, yeah, I understand why you gave up. I understand why you didn't live to your fullest potential. But that's selling myself short. And that's not fair. That's not fair to my family, to my friends, to my peers, to my clients, and most especially to myself. I'm not living my purpose. I'm not living my dream that I set out to do and the commitments that I made for myself. So mindset is critical. And it is the number one thing to being successful. Number one. The very first thing that I hear now, and all the gurus are getting smart, instead of just teaching tactics and how to's, if our mindset isn't right, we're not doing jack. We're not going to succeed. We're going to let it fail. It's like, if you only make 20 calls a day, you'll make $500 million in 1 year. But you still got to make those 20 calls a day. And if you're sitting there talking yourself out of it, or, oh, maybe tomorrow I'll do 40 or whatever, and then eventually you go, oh, it's just a bunch of bunk and it doesn't work anyway, well, you never even gave it a chance. So consistency is the key. It builds your confidence and also gets momentum going. And mindset is key. First, number one. And I see you doing that. I see you doing that,
Thank you.
Taylor. And you are going to be very successful because you have a positive mindset that you're starting from. So many people out there have overcome a lot of challenges, and not minimizing any traumas, not minimizing any issues that anybody is dealing with, because Lord knows I came from the ghetto, people. I did. And there was a lot of drama going on in my life, but overcoming that negative mindset is critical. I am not a victim. Everything happens for a reason. And when you were saying, people are saying, oh, you can't pass your test. I didn't even have a dang GED and I passed my test. Don't tell me, hold my beer, you know? As
Exactly.
a matter of fact,
Yeah.
when somebody says you can't do something, that is absolutely the reason why I should and can
Yes.
and will.
Yes, exactly. That was
Now
my
that's
thought for sure. I
that's
was like,
mindset.
"Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just do it tomorrow then." Okay, sounds good. I accept the challenge.
The other thing about mindset is staying away from negative people, or letting it bounce off you. You just got to let it run down your back. You cannot internalize it or give 1 minute of thought. Constructive criticism from people you trust is powerful and important. However, the buck stops here in your head. And if it's not working for you and it doesn't resonate with you, let it go. Be gone. We got work to do and we don't need to be slowed down. We got too many things on our plate and our time's limited. We got the same amount of time as everybody else, but we all got an expiration date. What was one of the speakers I heard? Oh my gosh, I wish I could remember who it is. He said, on your gravestone, there's the date of your birth and the date of your death. Truly living is what happens in between. That's so beautiful.
I love that.
You know, everybody's got an expiration date. None of us are getting out of alive. Make it count. That's where your mindset comes in. I love it.
Right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and kind of piggybacking off of what you were talking about as far as people being negative around you and not feeding into that, that's probably something that people don't really think about or don't realize that they're doing is when somebody is complaining about something or gossiping or talking about something that you know makes you feel icky inside, where you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't be talking about this with this person, where you know it's wrong. That's where you need
Right.
to set those boundaries, because you may not think it's going to affect you, but it will. Because if you're wasting your time
Mm-hmm.
gossiping, being negative, complaining, just complaining on its own, I feel like we all kind of do that way too much. And it really does,
Absolutely.
it feeds into our heart, into our mind,
Toxic.
and it makes us a very negative person. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely a few things to take note of, that you have to pay attention to, because you may not think that you're doing it, or you may not realize how often you're doing it throughout the day, because the time that you're wasting doing that, you could be building your business, developing yourself, signing up for coaching, and talking to somebody
Doing
new.
podcasts.
Yeah, starting a new, a new venture,
Yes.
something that you've always wanted to do but have never done.
Jumping
And
out of
it's
airplanes.
yeah, just being a positive person. And without a positive mindset, you can't have a positive, productive life. If you
I
have a
agree.
negative mindset, then your life will reflect that.
So when I sit there and I'm talking to somebody and they're talking gossip or they're being negative or whatever, or especially if they're talking about other people, you get to not trust that person. And the only reason to complain is to garner sympathy. Well, we're all in the same boat. So if you're having a bad day or whatever, and I'm not talking about if somebody is affected by, death or divorce or the loss of a child or something like that. By God, we should all rally around and support that person. But if it's because something happened on the news or some politician said this, that, or the other thing, or the interest rates went up, or, they had a negative experience with a client, or something bad happened in the inspections and they lost a deal or whatever. Those are not things to dwell on. Those are just things, you know. If you get drugged down by that, it's going to ruin your whole day, your week, your month, whatever. And the people around you are going to, it's like, it just feels wrong and dirty. When people start talking negative and gossiping and everything, I actually look at that person and I want to distance myself, because I know they're talking bad about me behind my back. And if you start gossiping, think about that. What is the person you're gossiping to thinking about you? So stop it, because it serves no purpose whatsoever. None. And the other thing, mindset, stop listening to the news and the drama out there. Most of it's bunk. You create your reality. You create your results, not the people out there. The media dwells on fear, whether it's the fear of missing out, the fear of not measuring up, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of loss, the fear of doom, all of that. The conspiracy theories. Yeah, there's stuff you got to know, but darn it, stop it. I quit watching news. Do you know I used to be on Effexor? That's an antidepressant. I went to
Oh,
my doctor
really?
after 9/11, and I'm like, God, I'm so depressed all the time. I just feel so, hopeless and all this. And so he prescribes Effexor, which is an antidepressant. And I was on it for a year. And I went back and I go, I'm still depressed and all this. And he goes, wait, smart man, by the way. Of course, he should have said this a year prior, but he said, do you watch the news a lot? I said, well, yeah, every morning at blah, blah, blah. He goes, just turn it off. He says, try to distance yourself as much as possible from the news, because the news is really focused on fear mongering. And when you're in fear, you're not in gratitude. Like you said, gratitude replaces fear. So when I got away from that and started shifting, that's actually when I started my real self-awareness journey. And I'm not on any antidepressants, and I've never been happier.
That's so true. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people struggle with that. I've struggled with that myself. I've also been on an antidepressant before, and I really don't mind sharing that because this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And
Yeah,
it's something that goes into having a strong mindset. And I think it's really, really crucial to realize that, yes, there are, because we could get into the details of this, but essentially, the big picture is yes, you may be going through something, whether it's in your personal life or it's a mental struggle. However, you can still make the choice every single day to be positive. You can still do that. You can still get
everything.
yourself out of bed and go work out. You can still get yourself out of bed and go to work and have a productive day and start that business or go take a hike outside at Garden of the Gods. You can
Yeah,
still do that even though you're struggling. And if you're struggling, the best thing you can do is ask for help. If you're in your room alone in bed for hours at a time and you're binge watching Netflix, no,
yes,
you're not going to have a happy, positive day. Let's be real. We're doing it to ourselves. And it's really important to go out and ask for help if you are feeling helpless, if you're feeling sad or depressed, and really look at your daily habits. Because I can tell you, if you're not spending enough time outside, that can actually really hurt your internal mindset and your heart. Like that can already make you depressed if you're not getting fresh air, you're not looking out a window. Because my office is
sunshine.
basically, yeah, like my office is basically a closet. So I don't have a window in my office. So I make sure that I need to go outside and get some fresh air, take a walk. If you take a walk every day, and you haven't been doing that, I promise you that'll make you like 10 times happier just taking a walk outside and spending time with
Mhm.
yourself. I think that some of us are afraid of spending time with ourselves. And we always feel like we have
Sometimes
to
it's
spend.
scary if we're not.
Yeah, it can be scary. And that's something that has also really helped me is I've had to get comfortable spending time with myself alone, going on walks or doing something that I like to do. I like hiking a lot. So I'll
Me
go
too.
hiking. Yeah, and when you're alone by
We got to
yourself,
do the incline, Taylor.
yeah, we do. I'm a little scared, but I'll do it just for you.
No, I'll take my time. That's my spiritual time. So I take my time. I don't
I love
race.
that. Oh my
It
gosh,
it
okay,
is.
we should do it then.
All
Yeah.
right. The date.
It's a plan.
We'll
Yeah.
videotape it.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. Yeah, they're just gonna see me huffing and puffing and almost passing out, so.
Yay. I'll be there. I'll hold you up.
Yeah, just spending time with yourself. I mean, if you're not comfortable doing that, you really need to do some work on yourself and your mindset because if you're only spending time with other people and you're only worrying about what other people are doing, what other people are thinking, then I mean, you got it all backwards. So, yeah.
Yeah, let me say one more thing about that. And this was a trap that I got into, the mindset trap. So everything's going good, but then I start looking at other people who are, uh, in my perception, they're doing better than me. And while it is good to aspire for greatness or doing things better, it is definitely not good to look at somebody else's highlight reel to your reality, because that will bring you down. If they are in their journey farther along than you are, whether it's weight loss or they're more successful in their business or they've chosen a different path or they've got other advantages, comparison is a killer. When we compare ourselves, that's what the whole media industry is around. When you see this beautiful woman in this blah 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 whatever, for women anyway, and men see it too. You look at a woman who's has a perfect body and a perfect smile and perfect teeth and all this kind of stuff. You tend to compare yourself, and then that makes you feel less than. And that's destructive to your mindset. So stop doing it. Just stop it. That's what I'm
Yes.
going to name my next book. Just stop it.
I love it. Yes, it's so true because that's really how you have to talk to yourself.
I
When
know.
you're, yeah, when you're getting in that rabbit hole and you're
Yeah,
sitting there and you're getting all mopey, you have to talk to yourself like that and hold yourself accountable.
that's
Yeah.
right. Or and then by the same token, is if you're in a spiral or a rut you can't really seem to get out of, um, it's really good to surround yourself with other people that can also help you be accountable, that are positive, that actually do not hang around you just because you have something to give them, or if they hang around you just because they're trying to make themselves better or something. There's a lot of dynamic, especially with women, that they're competitive. Competition is okay as long as it's healthy. When it becomes toxic, not so much. So also learning how to say no. Do you know the best day of my career was the day I actually fired a client?
Really?
It shifted my mindset because I felt like I had to solve the problem. I had to be the hero. I had to, do this. I was going to go to any lengths, even to the detriment of my own health and well-being. I allowed myself to get beat up for a long time. But when enough came enough and I gave myself permission to let the client go, the very next day, my entire life and my profession changed. because
Wow.
I had drawn a line and I held myself to a higher standard. And I also built a level of confidence that skyrocketed my personal being and self-worth to a whole nother stratosphere. That was the best that I have to say in my entire career, that very first time I let a client go was the best day of my career. Not selling $1 million houses, not accomplishing some award or anything. It was actually the day I let a client go. And that made all the difference in the world. And I think that's really a big takeaway for especially agents in the business right now who are feeling beat up by the market and the people. Know your worth. We talk about that a lot, Taylor, in all of our podcasts is knowing
Mm,
our worth as real estate professionals and as human beings for that matter. But I
yeah.
think that's extremely critical, and I think it's a good note to end on this mindset talk. I look forward to the day that you get to fire somebody.
That just goes back into who we're surrounding ourselves with,
Yeah,
because we have that choice. You don't have to hang out with the negative Nancy's every day. You can
right.
choose to walk away and put space between yourself and them. And that goes with in your business too. I mean,
Hmm.
if somebody is seriously affecting your mental health and well-being,
Hmm.
then why go leaps and bounds and jump, you know, I mean, you can't do that to yourself. Yeah. Like if they're wanting you to help them to the expense of yourself,
Hmm.
that's something that you need to realize and go, oh, red flag, run away immediately, because that means they don't value you and they don't want the best for you. So,
Now, they might not understand certain things, and that's where professionalism comes in, and maybe you learn to ask the better questions. Maybe you learn to perfect your I hate to say sales pitch, but your value proposition. That's
mhm,
that's where that kind of comes in. Because just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean they're a terrible client or something. Uh,
yeah,
but then there are some that no matter what you do or what you say, it just isn't going to happen. So let it go. Let it go. Just stop it.
yeah. Right. And we're talking in the context of like you're doing a great job, you're communicating, you're doing everything you can on your part to be
Yes.
a good human. That's what we're
Yes.
talking about.
Being a good human. Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
and sometimes just letting other people go or getting them out of your sphere helps them. We're
yeah.
actually helping other people because being intertwined with you sometimes might not be good for them. And you are letting them go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
all right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Did you have anything else any points you wanted to make before we end?
Well, I would just say every day, try something new, put yourself in a situation that makes you extremely uncomfortable in a productive and constructive way. And
Absolutely.
challenge yourself, do something that you've been putting off or something you've been avoiding. That's what we're talking about. Every day, do something like that. Get outside, get some fresh air. And something that we didn't completely touch on, but is something that we need to think about, is diet, because
Oh,
food
yeah.
can affect you. Yeah. So, like, food can affect everything, right? It can affect your mindset, your body, everything, your health. I mean, you can't be positive if, you're not taking care of your body. So, definitely eat healthy as you can every day. My rule of thumb is one sweet a day. That's what I like to do.
So you don't feel like
No.
you're depriving yourself, but you
Yeah.
also, yeah,
Right.
you
Yeah.
feel like you're doing a good thing for your body, and you are.
Yeah, moderation and consistency. Because if you're not consistent, you're going to beat yourself up about it and get yourself down in that negative rabbit hole. So work at it every day. It's not an easy fix. There's no easy fix to this. It's you holding yourself accountable, and you are your worst enemy if you're not taking these steps.
Amen. Yes.
Yes.
This was a good episode. I love it.
Oh, it was.
All right. I will end it here. Thank you.
All right, thank you.